There is something I wanted to talk about for a long time, and that is about languages. And this is a very serious problem. So, I innately believe that languages have a personality of their own by the virtue of the words that they have. Certain languages don't have words for certain feelings, and so you can never convey the idea in that language. So, I was just thinking, how do you talk about new recent things that are happening in the world, say like in artificial intelligence or machine learning, in a regional language? How do you convey this to people? Say if I want to express something like recently Google's deep mind technology has started to mimic humans. If I want to convey that in a regional language, I personally cannot. Maybe a couple of my friends can, but I don't have words in regional languages to describe these concepts. And probably this seems like a very first worldish, irrelevant problem, but it trickles down to a very important problem, I think. And that is, these languages are rich repositories, all right? They have like such rich information, from poetry to short stories to different novels. And there is a growing disconnect happening. I don't understand 50% of standard Odia literature, even if I studied Odia in school. And one of the reasons I think that is happening is that there is a growing bifurcation, right? I think what is happening in the contemporary world is not getting communicated in our regional languages. I think there needs to be a confluence happening. Or else, when you try to keep something very pure, when you try to keep something very preserved beyond fences, that thing actually ends up destroying that thing. Like that is what happened to Sanskrit. You try to make it so pure and preserved and protected that nobody now speaks Sanskrit anymore. So I feel if modern languages don't have to do that. I mean, if we want our modern languages to stay updated, they have to blend in with new contemporary ideas, and that is something that is not happening, right? When I speak in Hindi, or not Hindi, when I speak in say Odia, the kind of things I can construct with Odia are very basic. I can say like ita gote chosma hai, ita gote phone hai. If I have to say something more complex, like there is a surreal beauty in this night's tranquility, I don't have the words to express this in Odia. I can just say something like Iratita bahut sundar hai. And that just does not do justice to the complex feeling that I want to convey. And I think our languages will die a semantic death if that happens. So what can is a proposition? I think we need new words. Either we need new words, or we need like an equivalent of English in other languages. Because like English manages to do it very well. When I talk to a friend in Hindi, it is not really Hindi or English. It is like a combination of both of them. It's really beautiful. It goes something like, तो मैं यहाँ गया था और फिर मैं उसके बाद क्लास में गया, एंड जब इन दो चीज़ों को आप juxtapose करते हो, so it's like in a sentence you fill these voids that Hindi does not have the words for, or probably they sound too Sanskrit for common tone. You fill those with English, and somehow like these two things confluence, and you have a very rich language, whatever comes out as a result. And that is not happening with other languages. At least in Odia it's not happening, and I feel kind of sad about it, because it's about like losing touch from your own identity. And so it should not be like either force everyone to learn English, or like learn the proper dense Odia, right? It should be like a combination, I feel. And languages need to evolve into different personalities, right? Because like English has different personalities. Like you can sound very royal in English, like you can also sound very swaggy in English. You can also, like, since it is spoken in different cultures, every culture lends a different flavor to the language in terms of the kind of intonations, the accents, or the kind of slangs that you give. It gives a flavor to the language, and that is why it is so much of richer. You can on one end, English is like, yeah, dude, it's like so cool. It's amazing. Okay, sorry for the cringy accent. On other end, it can be, that's a beautiful cup of coffee. uh, and on other end, it is like, that is like that only, yeah. You get like the different kind of diversity. But Odia makes me feel like I am some sort of like, I have to adopt a personality that I am not while speaking the language, and that should not happen. I think Odia should have its equivalent forms of, when you when you discuss philosophy, it should sound in a certain way. Maybe it sounds like Jibanara Prakrutika Mahatva Kana, or like, I don't know, like that sort of way. And when you talk about something like really, really, cool and like, এটা তো बहुत बढ़िया, like it has its own things, but I still feel like it was more richer. Or at least, like, if I understood these things, because then I feel like I'm slightly forgetting the language, even if I'm able to understand what the words are. I just don't use it in real life so much, and I guess maybe the problem is that I just don't use the language in real life. Yeah, enough midnight blabbering.